Yeah. Okay. Welcome, everyone. Can you hear me okay? So I'd like to call the meeting to order. This is a hearing for the Committee of Adjustment for the Town of Grimsby. I'll first introduce the staff and the members of the committee, just for your benefit, and then we'll go through a little bit of a introduction because it's our second Zoom meeting. We have everybody hear the first introductory notes and then or comments, and then we'll put you into the waiting room. So first we have member Danielle Beck. If you just want to wave. Dylan Bailey, member, there he is, and Adam Ottershead. And we have a missing member absent tonight, Herb Nobes. I'm the chair, Kevin Antonitis, and we have staff with us tonight, Amy Shanks, the planner. There's Amy. And Nancy Simon, our secretary. All right, so for live streaming, members of the public are advised that our meetings are streamed live by the Town of Grimsby. Individuals and media may be audibly and or visually recorded during this meeting. As a reminder, all electronic devices are to be in silent mode during our committee meeting. Everyone present will be given an opportunity to comment on the applications being heard. Please address your comments and questions through the chair. Agencies commenting on applications may request certain conditions may be imposed. Voicing objections to these conditions will not adversely affect the committee's decision. So the first item on the agenda is the minutes from the previous meeting. Maybe at this time I'll ask that the application or the applicants be dismissed to the waiting room until we call the first one. One more. There we go. Okay. So for the committee members then, we have the minutes of the previous meeting held on June 23rd, 2020. Are there any additions or errors or omissions? If not, then do I have a motion and a seconder to approve the minutes?
I'll motion to approve.
Adam? And seconder?
I can second that.
Dylan? Thank you. Any further comments? None? All those in favor say aye. Maybe raise your hand. I know they're asking for a recorded vote, so for this, we have I, Adam, Danielle, and myself. Was carried. Does anyone have a pecuniary interest in the applications being heard this evening?
No.
Danielle, Dylan, Adam.
Sorry,
Yep.
Through you, Mr. Chair, I don't know if it's pecuniary interest or not, but I'm a member of St. Joseph's Church and my children attend St. Joseph's School. So just wanted to declare that up
Yep.
front.
Okay, so noted. I don't think that would be a direct pecuniary interest, but it will be recorded in the minutes.
Thank you.
And I have none as well. So what we're going to do is have the have Nancy read the application, and Amy will go through the presentation, and then we'll have the applicant address the presentation if they'd like to elaborate on it, and then we'll open up to questions from the members, and then make a decision then. So first we have Jim Wright speaking on behalf of the owner, or is the owner, for A0920 application number, and that's at 640 or 746 Brand Road in Grimsby. Nancy?
Yes, the application is to allow
Nancy, you're muted. Sorry, can you start over? Thank you.
Yes, sorry. The application is to allow for the installation of a pool in the side yard, whereas the zoning bylaw states that pools are only permitted in the rear yard. So our first slide shows 746 Brand Road, the location of Brand Road. The next slide. The next slide is a diagram of where the pool is going with a deck in front of it. It also shows where the existing septic bed is. Next slide. And this is a picture of what the property currently looks like without the pool installed, and the deck is already constructed. There were no comments or objections from any of the agencies circulated.
All right, is it Jim? Did you wish to speak to the committee at all, or to the members here, and add anything or elaborate on the application or reason for the request?
No, I think I'm fine. Just the only thing maybe is that we purchased the house about a year ago. There was a pool there, and we're just replacing the pool.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions for the committee members at all? None? Do we have a motion then?
I'll motion to approve.
Moved by Adam, seconder.
I'll second.
Danielle. Any further discussion on this application? No? All those in favor say aye. Actually, I'm going to call you one by one just for clarity. So Member Beck,
Aye.
Member Mottershead,
Yay.
Member Bailey,
Yay.
and myself, yay, was carried. The variance was approved. Now, there is a 20-day appeal period before it comes final and binding. Other than that, it's approved. Thank you for attending this unique committee format.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, the next application, I don't know if they're in. Oh yeah, they're in. So we have application number A0620 at 242 Main Street East. Oscar Dinelli and Wendy Coles. Did I say that right?
Correct.
Okay, so we'll have Nancy read the application and any correspondence that we've received, and we'll go through a little brief presentation on the application for the benefit of the members and yourself. And then we'll allow you to elaborate if you'd like, and then we'll open it up to the committee members for questions.
Okay.
The application is to allow for a front porch encroachment of 3.05 meters and a stair encroachment of 4.25 meters, whereas 1.5 meters is permitted. There were no objections or comments received from any of the agencies circulated. There were comments received from the Heritage Committee. They do not object to the application, but it was noted that one of the members expressed concerns about the style and possible removal of trees. Our first slide shows the location of the house on 242 Main Street, which is right there. The next slide. The next slide shows the existing front porch, which needs to be replaced. And this is a diagram showing the proposal of the front porch across the entire front facade of the house. Yes.
Okay, did the applicant wish to add or elaborate or expand on the reason for the request at all?
The reason for the application is because we have to tear down the existing porch, which is really rotting away. It was built probably 70 years ago. So because of that, we need to apply for the minor variance for the new porch. And the new porch will extend maybe 3 feet longer than the existing porch and also go across the front of the house.
Great, thank you. Any questions from the committee members at all? Adam, no. Dylan? No. Danielle, no. All right then. So do I have a motion on this? It's resolved. I'll just read the motion. It's probably easier to do it that way. So resolve that submission A06-2242 Main Street East for a minor variance from the provision of the bylaw as amended Main Street MS zone to allow for a front porch encroachment of 3.05 meters and a stair encroachment of 4.25 meters, whereas 1.5 meters is permitted, be approved for the following reasons. The variance is minor in nature. The intent of the official plan and zoning bylaw is maintained, and the proposal is desirable for the appropriate development of the land. Do I have a mover on that? Dylan? And seconder?
I'll second.
Adam? Any further discussion on this application or motion? No? All those in favor say aye. Member Beck? Or yay or nay?
Yay.
Yay. Member Mottershead?
Yay.
Member Bailey?
Yay.
And myself, yay, was approved. And again, there's a 20-day appeal period before it becomes final and binding, but it has been approved. Thank you for attending.
Thank you very much.
Wait for a second. Okay, the next application is A0820 at number 2 Carnegie Lane. George and Karen Powell are the owners. Karen, just for your benefit, we'll have the secretary read the application and go through a brief presentation that the planning department created. And they'll read any correspondence or summarize any correspondence that we've received on the application. And then we'll allow you to add or elaborate if you wish. And then we'll open it up to members of the committee to ask questions if they'd like.
Thank you.
So Nancy?
Yes. So the proposal is for an interior side yard setback of 1.2 meters, whereas 1.5 meters is required. A rear yard setback of 4.5 meters, whereas 9 meters is required. And also to allow a secondary suite as an addition to an existing single-family dwelling, which will alter the exterior appearance of the dwelling. Whereas a secondary suite is a permitted use provided the exterior appearance is unaltered. With respect to comments or objections, none were received from any of the agencies circulated. The first slide shows 2 Carnegie Lane location. The next slide shows the existing front facade of 2 Carnegie Lane. And the last slide shows the different elevations. With the front elevation, as you will notice, there will be another front door to the front elevation, which it will be seen from Carnegie Lane. Thank you.
Karen, did you wish to add or elaborate or give an explanation or reason for the request?
Yes, if I could. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, sorry, I was on mute.
Okay.
Go ahead, Karen.
Thanks for hearing our application. My husband and I are the applicants for this variance. We've lived in Grimsby both for a long period of time, and we're both seniors. We have some health issues, and we're looking at making plans to age in place. So in our home, which is in downtown Grimsby, the planned addition, which is the secondary unit to our home, would provide room for our daughter and her family to join us. And they would provide assistance with household tasks, including lawn and snow removal. And our zoning's currently, as you know, downtown transitional. Currently, our property, as you saw, had the detached garage. The current detached garage sits about 1 meter from the property line. Our lot is a slightly irregular in shape, and that's partly the reason for the variance request to make the addition fit. The proposed secondary unit is a single-story addition with a basement, but not as low a basement as we currently have in our older home. And it would be the secondary unit will be more aesthetically pleasing to our neighbors than our current concrete garage, which is, like I said, very close to the property lines. The variance has been explained, and thanks for hearing our request this evening. I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the committee members at all? Dylan?
Through you, Mr. Chair, I just have a clarification from the drawing. Am I correct in saying that there will be, after the renovation, there'll be a new driveway as well as the existing driveway? Is that correct?
Yes, we're planning to request an additional driveway for additional parking on the other side of our property. We have about 80-foot frontage, so there is plenty of room for an additional driveway for parking.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? Adam or Danielle? No? Okay, there be no further questions, and I'll call for a motion. So resolve that submission A0820-2 Carnegie Lane, request for minor variance of provision of bylaw 1445 as amended in a TRM zone to allow for an interior side yard of 1.2 meters, whereas 1.5 meters is required, to allow for a rear yard of 4.5 meters where 9 is required, and to allow a secondary suite as an addition to an existing single-family dwelling, which will alter the exterior appearance of the dwelling, whereas a secondary suite is permitted use provided the exterior appearance is unaltered as per section 419 be approved for the following reasons. The variance is minor in nature. The intent of the official plan and zoning bylaw is maintained, and the proposal is desirable for the appropriate development of the land. And the condition was requested as per the planning department. Karen, I don't know if you had a chance to read that request by the planning department, saying that they're suggesting the following condition: the maximum height of any deck within the 4.5 meter rear yard shall be 1.8 meters measured from the grade, excluding any railings.
All right, no problem.
Okay.
We'll
So
ensure
do I
that.
have a motion on, or a mover on this? Dylan? And seconder? No, anybody? I will, to get it on the floor. Any further discussion on this? Danielle?
Hi, thank you, Kevin. Through the chair to the applicant. I struggle with a lot of these secondary suites. We've only seen a handful come through in Grimsby, but to come through as an addition that is being turned or renovated or basically created to create a secondary suite, when in my opinion, the intent of the bylaw is for it to still look like a single family or a single detached home. Based on the drawings, the addition looks fairly large. It's taller in height than the existing house, and it is providing another front door entrance facing the street, which is fairly visible. So for those reasons, in my opinion, I don't feel that it meets the intent of the zoning bylaw, and for that reason, I'm not going to be able to support the application as submitted tonight.
Okay, thanks for those comments. Anybody else? No other comments? Yeah, I think it's a great way to provide affordable housing and infill, and especially in your situation, Karen, and your husband, you were mentioning, it's a good way to age in place. So I'm in favor of this. I don't think we've heard from, or I'm sure we haven't heard from any neighbors or residents nearby. So I'm assuming you've talked to them or they've been circulated the plan, so they don't have any negative connotations. It is a downtown location. So
Everyone we've talked to has supported it and have no concerns.
Right, and we have support from the planning department as well, so I would certainly be in favor of it. So we have a mover and a seconder. Is there any further discussion or questions before we call for a vote? No? So all those in favor, or to say yay or nay, I guess, Member Beck?
Nay.
Member Mottershead?
Nay.
Member Bailey?
Yay.
And myself is also a yay, so that's a tie vote. Now you're going to have to help me, Nancy. No decision?
So no decision, yes.
So,
So we'll have to come back when we have a majority of committee members.
okay. So unfortunately, it defers it to the next meeting or till we have, well, it would be,
When we have a majority, so
hopefully a quorum. So hopefully within 4 weeks. Unfortunately, it's been deferred because of the tie vote. Normally we have 5 and we don't get into the situation.
Okay. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Will I get notice of the next meeting then?
yes, you will.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. Okay. And we have the next person in yet? There we go. So we have 2 delegates here. On behalf of Father Rico, we have Bruna Kalari and Greg Gertson. Just to give you a brief outline, we'll have staff. So Nancy Simon will read the application and any correspondence that we've received. We'll go through a brief little presentation explaining the application, and then we'll allow you as the applicant or your representatives to speak on behalf of the request and elaborate or address any questions or comments that came up, and then we'll open it up to the committee as a whole to ask questions if they would like.
Thank you.
Nancy?
Yes, the application is for a reduction in parking spaces. 165 spaces are required, and the applicant is requesting a reduction to 162 spaces to allow for an alternate access route. The first slide shows the location of St. Joseph Church on Livingston Avenue. The next slide. The next slide shows where the parking spaces will be reduced to connect with the existing driveway of the school.
Sorry, Kevin, can you mute your mic? We're getting some echo with Nancy.
Would you like me to repeat?
No, I think we heard you. It was a lot of echoing in between.
It was a lot of echoing.
Okay, did anyone wish to address the committee? Could we just get your name for the record? I'm not sure who's going to go first. There's 3.
Yeah, so it's myself, Father Rico Becerro. I'm the pastor of St. Joseph's. I thank the committee for your time for our application. I also like to thank Nancy for her help in setting this up. So as she mentioned, the application, this is our 3rd location of our parish. When we had built the parish here, we were promised at the time a 2nd entrance and exit. And when Blessed Trinity was given that bus lane that you saw on the prior diagram, it has land trapped us. So from a safety perspective, it's very important that we realize for emergency vehicles, as well as looking after like young children by our front doors, I had suggested that we revisit that 2nd entrance and exit. Even from a logistics after Mass, the cars are backed up. It takes a long time to get out. We have 3,000 families in our parish. So I think it's a no-brainer. Also with the relationship that we have with Blessed Trinity, you might remember when we had the teachers strike, they were parking on our property. We use them as an overflow, so I realize the mandate, but just for the 3 spaces, we have access. We would never be parking on Livingston, et cetera. And I think it would only help for especially in a case of emergency. I know the fire chief's behind it, the board's behind it, the parish is behind it. I think it's a no-brainer, and we're just looking for your support. Also, you'll notice I'm not sure, Nancy, if everyone gets that cover letter that I had given, but in regards to the fee as well for the, I don't know what you call this fee that you attach to it. I'm also asking the committee to consider having it waived. We are not an individual. We are not a business. We are the church who works for the community. So this wasn't part of our budgeting during COVID. We're already strapped in regards to revenue. Sadly, the school board, while they accept our proposal, they're not willing to commit any funds. So we're already spending a lot of money in building this extra driveway. But we're hopeful that on the basis of that we are a charity and we allow the town already on our property to access the fields behind us, we've never billed that you would see to it that this fee could be waived, and I thank you in advance.
Thank you. Anybody else wishing to address the committee? Bruna or Greg? No? Then I'll open it
Go
up.
ahead.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
Bruna?
Hi, Kevin.
Hi.
So yeah, just to echo what Father Rico said, so I am a member of the parish, and I have young children, so it's a little bit problematic for young families to be entering and exiting in the current entrance. Also, we have a lot of seniors and some people that are in wheelchairs, so they have to come in off of Livingston. They get dropped off in front of the church. So there's just a lot of congestion that's happening there, and our community is really growing, which is fantastic, and we're really excited about it. But it's not going to get any better. So if we could have that area designated for seniors to be dropped off and picked up, and for disabled people for the same reason, it would just help things immensely. And also, Father Rico doesn't have to do this too often, but we do. We have to turn left on Livingston when we're exiting church all the time, and that is often quite a nightmare. So if we had that second option, it would just alleviate a lot of the pain of entering and exiting the building or the parking lot. Yeah, so those are just some of the things that I think this extra drive would really help us with. And again, with our growing membership, it's these problems are just going to get worse. So your consideration would be great. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Greg, did you wish to make additional comments, or? I can't hear Greg.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yep. Now we can.
I'm joining tonight's meeting to show support for the construction of the secondary driveway between St. Joseph Church and Blessed Trinity Secondary School. Being a parent of young children and also a professional firefighter, I think the secondary driveway would be beneficial from a safety point of view. Before and after Mass, the St. Joseph's parking lot can become very busy and congested with vehicles arriving and leaving simultaneously through the main driveway to Livingston. I've experienced navigating the parking lot with my own children, and while being cautious, I found it to be a potentially dangerous place for pedestrians. The construction of the second driveway would help reduce the traffic flow passing by the main entrance and the Marian Grotto, making it safer for all pedestrians, especially the children. And also through my experience as a professional firefighter, I've responded to emergencies at many different building types, including institutions similar to St. Joseph's Church. Properly positioning fire apparatus at an emergency scene is critical to the outcome, and there are many considerations for access. Examples would be the following: sufficient space for an aerial ladder truck to be properly set up for either rescue or rooftop access or water tower operations. Pumper apparatus need to be positioned so hose lines can be deployed into the building, and pumpers also need to be connected to a water source, which typically would be a fire hydrant. Additional fire apparatus and support vehicles such as the chief's vehicle or ambulance will need to also have access to the scene. The main driveway at St. Joseph's is also a designated fire lane and is also the location of the closest fire hydrant. Emergency vehicles responding to the main entrance, especially during regular church activities, may arrive to find a challenging and chaotic scene when parishioner vehicles are leaving in the same space. It would be very beneficial to have a secondary driveway at the rear of the property to help clear the parking lot of vehicles when there is an emergency. This driveway would also allow other arriving apparatus to set up around the perimeter of the building if the main driveway is blocked by the first-in pumper or an aerial ladder. Improving access to our parking lot will improve the safety of visitors and parishioners at St. Joseph Church and also help our first responders if we should ever need their services. Thank you for your time and considering my personal experiences.
Thank you. Are there any questions then from the committee members? Dylan?
Hi, through you, Mr. Chair. I just have a quick question. When I visited the site, I think that there's a large light standard where the driveway is going to be going in, and I'm assuming that that will be not simply, but will be moved as part of the construction. Just when we talk about safety and things like that, I'm assuming it will be.
Yes,
Would it be possible to get the site plan put back up while we're doing this? Is that okay? That'll be kind of helpful to see it while we're talking about it. Is there a zoom there? So I don't know if you can indicate, Dylan, but maybe.
Sort of, if looking at the top right of the plan, you'll sort of see there's a circle, which is a tree, and then above that is the location where the driveway will link, and sort of where the second spot from the bottom is, there's a very large light standard which matches the rest of those in the parking lot. So again, I'm assuming that just as part of that, and I apologize for my newness, but whether I'm assuming that will be maintained as part of the driveway installation.
Yes, it would.
Thank you, Father.
Thanks.
Any other questions from the committee members? Sorry, I can't see everybody right now. I see Dylan and Adam or Danielle. Any questions? Danielle?
Yes, thank you. Through the chair. I think this is going to be more for Nancy, but it was requested that the application fees get waived. I would be fully supportive of that, as they are a not-for-profit organization. However, I don't know if that's within the Committee of Adjustments powers. I believe the fee bylaw is set out by council, so I'm not too sure if that request would have to go through council or not.
No, it's within the committee's powers to waive the fees.
My experience, Danielle, has been, I don't know, probably 15, 20 years serving on the committee. I think we had one or two requests and we did do it through the committee. One was a town error, I believe, so we refunded it, and I can't remember what the other one was, but we have done it through the committee.
Okay, thank you for the clarification through you, Chair.
And then we would do a separate motion for that, separate from the application itself.
That was my next question. Thank you. And Dylan, thank you for clarifying on behalf about that light standard, because I did actually bike through there with my daughter the other day and I noticed that. So thank you everybody for your information. I will be in full support of this application when a motion is brought forward.
Any other questions? Adam, did you have any? No.
And what's
So I have a question, I guess. I don't know, maybe it's a technical one or a traffic one. You're creating a driveway out to a property held under separate title, correct?
Yes.
So they're not in identical ownership at this time, right?
No, it's owned by the Niagara Catholic School Board.
Okay. So would there not be a requirement to do a right-of-way or easement, or a right-of-way, I presume, over this property to get out to Livingston to protect that interest?
So what the board is in full support, and Nancy had a verbal conversation with the principal, Joe Zarota, as well as Scott Whitwell, who's superintendent of plant. So looking at your diagram again, you're going to exit left. They would go around the school and all the way back to Livingston and make a left or right turn there. The school board is in full support of that because the bus lane, which is what's the right word? It's on the side of my property, the perimeter of my property is a one-way. So they would enter from Livingston, enter into my parking lot, so left turn only. As they're exiting, they're only going to make a left-hand turn around Blessed Trinity School and back up to Livingston on the far left side of this diagram here, and then be able to make a left turn, as Bruno was speaking of before. Because currently out on our property, because there's only the one driveway, it says no left-hand turn, which aggravates a lot of people, but it's, again, from safety and for logistics. Does that answer your question, sir?
Well, it does, but I guess from a legal point of view, I don't know if you can create it, like that's quite an intrusive driveway access up and around another property, and I get it, you're connected, but legally you're emptying traffic onto one property. It may work well now, but if let's say the church gets larger, wants to expand, sells the property, does that right continue? Would it stop? I don't know. I just wondered if there should be some protection or some legal recognition that traffic's flowing from one property onto another without any easement or right of way. Like there's no defined area other than what we're talking about here tonight, but that's not in writing. That's not a permanent legal registered requirement. So I don't know, Amy, I defer to you or Public Works if they've had a comment about this, but.
Can everybody hear me? It's Amy Shanks. I'm a planner at the town. So this proposal will be required to go through site plan because there's an existing site plan on both properties, and that issue will be addressed through that application.
Okay, so they may be back to register an easement or a right of way at some point if required by either the town solicitor or site plan committee. So this is, if we approve it, it goes to site plan committee? Okay.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Okay, so I agree. I don't have a problem with the concept, but I'm just thinking there might be legal or title issues because of what we're creating here, right? That should be recognized and put down properly on the project, but it's obviously going to be addressed or maybe questioned at the site plan stage.
Yes, and for the record, the school board is in full support and is waiting for the decision of this committee to sign off. Yes.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? If not, then we'll deal with the first application or the first request, which is the application itself. So resolve that submission A10-20 St. Joseph's Catholic Church for minor variance from the provision of the bylaws amended in an institutional zone to allow for reduction in parking spaces from 165 as required to the reduction of 162 spaces to allow for an alternate access route be approved for the following reasons. The variance is minor in nature. The intent of the official plan zoning bylaw is maintained, and the proposal is desirable for the appropriate development of the land, subject to the following condition: that a driveway connection on the subject lands be constructed to connect with the abutting school site to allow for access egress through the school driveway. Do I have a mover and a seconder on this?
I'll
Mover
move.
first. Danielle?
I'll second.
Sorry, I didn't see that. Adam?
Yes, I'll second.
Adam? And I'll call for your votes. Member Beck, yay or nay?
Yay.
Member Mottershead?
Yay.
Member Bailey?
Yay.
And myself, yay. So it was approved unanimously. Now, with respect to the second request, what is the actual fees involved for this application?
So the actual fee that was paid by the church was $1,500.
May I interject, Nancy?
Yes, and there was a fee paid. Can you mute yourself? Sorry. There was a fee paid also to the region for $420, and the region has advised that they're reimbursing that fee because they did not need to review the application. So our refund would be for $1,500.
Okay, move then by, I should read the motion. Resolve that request for refund for the application fees of $1,500 by St. Joseph's Church be approved. So do I have a mover? Danielle started to. Oh, Adam. Seconder,
I'll second.
Danielle. And then I'll call for your vote individually. Member Beck,
Yay?
Member Mottershead,
Yay.
Member Bailey,
Yay.
and myself, yay, was approved. So there will be a refund of the fees. All right, thank you for attending
Thank you for your
our
time.
unique format here. Thanks.
Thanks, everyone. God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so we have Miles in attendance. Miles, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Perfect.
So Miles, we'll have our secretary Nancy Simon read the application, go through a brief presentation outlining the request, and then we'll allow yourself to speak on behalf of the owners if you'd like to elaborate, and then we'll open it up to the committee members for questions. I don't believe there's any of the members of the public here in attendance, so.
Perfect.
So an application is made by the owners at 86 Park Road South to allow for an easement for servicing and access for the benefit of 80 and 82 Park Road South. So this is a picture showing the location of the current properties that are involved. Next slide. And this diagram shows the actual easement that's being proposed off of Park Road South. Next slide. No. So of the agency circulated, the NPCA had no comments or objections. There was no comments or objections from the Niagara Escarpment Commission. The region had no objections. Grimsby Power, no objections, and the Public Works Department is in support of the application.
All right, Miles, did you wish to elaborate or expand on the request?
Nope, I think that was a effective summary. Thanks, Nancy.
Are there any questions from the committee members at all? Adam, Danielle, Dylan? No, none, and I have none. So then I'll call for the motion on the following resolution, that submission B02-20 by Martin Clacko to allow for an easement across 86 Park Road South to allow for servicing and access rights to the benefit of 80 and 82 Park Road South be approved. Do I have a mover on that motion? Adam?
Sorry, I'll move.
Seconder?
I so move.
Dylan, any further discussion on this motion? All those in favor, I'll ask you individually. Member Beck, yay or nay?
Yay?
Member Mottershead?
Yay.
Member Bailey?
Yay.
And myself, yay. So it was approved, subject to the 20-day appeal period before it becomes final and binding. Thank you for attending.
Perfect. Thank you.
So Mr. Clacko didn't want to come out himself? Oh, I missed him. I think that's all the applications we have. Is there
Is
anything
that the
else?
same Martin Clacko of the Clacko Marine family?
Well, I know his son is your city solicitor for Burlington.
That was
David
going to be my
Clacko.
next question, if he was related to David. So,
Yes.
yeah.
All right. There being no more applications or business, we'll call the meeting adjourned.
All right.
Thank you for
Have a great
attending,
evening,
everyone.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.
Thanks.